everybody, and welcome to another edition of Poland Daily Travel, the cooking expedition. We're here in North Warsaw at an undisclosed and secret location. We call it the place where Nico's Nash is famously created. Here with me is Nicholas, no relation, Richardson. You will recognize him from news reading on Poland Daily and also Poland Daily History. But today, you are a chef extraordinaire.
Extraordinary, certainly. Extraordinary, well, maybe.
Yeah, an aficionado of great cooking. Cuisine in your case. I call it cooking, you call it cuisine.
Yeah, well, cuisine is, right? Yes, well, it's cooking, I suppose. Baking, technically.
Baking, okay. And in the last episode, we saw you were kneading bread.
I was kneading the bread.
Massaging.
The bread is just going to rise. It's there under a clean tea towel.
Okay, it's right here. It's right here.
It's rising there.
That was from the last episode. We kneaded the bread, and now the bread needs to breathe.
It needs to rise. It's going to rise.
It's going to rise up and take over our next future episode.
Well, yes.
Right. So right now.
Well, now we're starting the tart, and we're starting because it works sequentially that way.
A tart.
Yes, we're making the pastry for the tart.
Okay, great. That's very exciting.
You can go on the interweb and see great chefs buying their pastry in the supermarket.
I call it the WWW.
Yes, the interweb. Yes, there's one in fact of Jamie Oliver making a tart with pastry he bought in a supermarket, which is fine. It makes life simpler.
Where did you buy yours?
I didn't, but I'm making it from scratch.
You're making it from scratch
because it's more interesting television seeing me struggle to make pastry than it is actually be unpacking.
I mean, if you just bought it at the store, it's cheating, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
So here we have 220 grams of plain flour, or as Americans would say, universal flour.
Right. Okay.
Just plain flour, not bread flour.
Two countries separated by a common tongue.
Yes, exactly. And we just, some people recommend sort of doing that, sifting it to get a bit of air into it. I mean, I'm not sure that's entirely necessary for this sort of thing. But we're making a short crust pastry. Now, sometimes folk do it with a puff pastry, or the mifai.
May I say, you sifted that beautifully.
Thank you. And into this, that's 220 grams of plain flour. Into this, I'm adding 110 grams of butter and lard, equal. About 55
I love lard.
Well,
have you got the extra lard? Because I just rub it on myself.
It does tend to actually really help the pastry. That's been in the fridge, so it's good. And we just put that in there. The idea is that we actually combine these together. Now, one of the things, if you can do it, generally rub it with your fingers. Which is obviously very exciting.
Which is obviously fun.
But you don't want, your hands are warm, of course, so you don't want the butter to melt too much. So I find this is a very useful device for just sort of, and of course, if you have a food processor, you can do it with a quick pulse movement on a food processor, which makes life much simpler. But as we
pulse movement on a food processor. Yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
You don't want to you don't want this to sort of become so fine that it's almost like flour again. But I don't have a food processor, so I'm doing.
I feel a bit like the Odd Couple. I'm Oscar and you're Felix.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind. I think that most people watching this would agree that I look like the guy who would not be able to cook, and you look like the guy who's very at home in the kitchen.
Well, all the world's great chefs are men, of course.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of fan mail actually from people who've seen some of my cooking things. I've learned some surprising insights into female psychology.
Really, have you? Because I noticed on Facebook that you've bloomed in the eyes of many women.
You know that Facebook group of which we're Morocco lockdown.
You're in Morocco lockdown?
Yeah, they had a competition to bake, and my chocolate cake won the contest.
You won the contest.
I won it with
you beat out the ladies.
My chocolate cake, we got the most votes.
That's right.
Now you may say, aha, it looks nice, but do you make it? Did anybody taste it?
How did it taste?
Excellent. In fact, it was so good that my younger son asked if I remake it for his birthday cake.
And you did?
I did.
And how old's your younger son? What's his name?
Alexander. He was 15 for his birthday.
Alexander is 15. Okay.
And another friend asked if I would make one for her name day.
And can we say what her name is, or you can just make up a name?
No, I'm going to make
Agnieszka.
Well, that wasn't her name necessarily.
I know, that's just what I said.
But anyway,
making up a name. Okay, wait a second. I don't think that's a good one. Marta. I prefer that.
Okay, whatever name.
Beata. Okay, that's my last one.
Name.
Beata.
But the point is that it means
there's only 10 names for women.
Somebody else has tasted my. So it's not just that it looks okay; it actually tastes nice. And you see, the idea is you're combining the fat, in this case the butter and the lard, with the flour.
Okay.
So you get a consistency which is a bit like breadcrumbs.
It's a bit like breadcrumbs. So you're really getting in there with this, with this, what do you call it,
Well,
crushing
Yeah,
device?
it has a French name which now escapes me.
Yeah, it has a French name, yeah.
But the idea is, and of course, it's metal, so it's not going to be warm. So it's not like my fingers. It's not going to really start melting the butter because you don't really want the butter and the fat to melt too much.
You don't want the butter to melt too much, okay.
Otherwise
And this is the pastry. You're going to form this into something or what?
This is the pastry, which will be formed into pastry.
We'll be right back after this bumper, and Nicholas will attempt to put the pastry into a dish.
Well, not first. It's got to sit in the fridge for a while.
Yeah? Can I help?
Yes, you just stop interfering.
I could help by being a little more entertaining. Okay, we'll see you after the bumper.
Yeah, we saw, and the idea is to get this, and you can do it with your fingers if you don't have one of those devices, to get this sort of looking a bit like in a sort of breadcrumby type consistency.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can.
Can you want to show that, what it looks like?
Sort of like sort of breadcrumbs, quite big breadcrumbs as it turns out on this occasion, because the butter was very cold.
Right.
But yeah, that you don't want to overdo it.
Okay.
That's about.
And then what's next?
Then you add. This is water which has been chilled in the fridge, so you just add a bit of water, not too much.
You don't know how much?
Well, it's about a tablespoonful initially, just to bring, and then you just want to gently bring it together. You're not kneading it like bread, but you're sort of pressing it to combine it. You see, into a, and what, you know you've got enough water when you sort of compressed it and you rub it round the bowl. You get all the crumbs up. You see.
So it wants to bind.
It wants to
together.
Exactly, it wants to bind together, and the idea is you don't handle it. You're not kneading it because you don't want it to be like bread. You don't want it to be long and tough, but you just want to make sure you've mixed all the ingredients together. You've got the moisture in it. You've sort of bound it, and then you shape it more or less like that. So that you see that's quite
okay.
And then you shape that more or less into a sort of disc shape.
Right.
And then you put it into the refrigerator. You can use cling film. I got a little freezer bag.
Yeah. Okay.
So I put that in there, and that goes into the refrigerator for about half an hour.
Okay.
And then by that time we'll be ready to move on.
And what's next after that?
Next one, then we prepare the apples for the tatin.
Prepare the apples, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks for watching. Come back in the next program, and we will be doing apples and putting the tart into the frying pan or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Put it in the pan and then carrying on. So right now we're waiting to shape rolls.
Shape rolls.
We're waiting for this to do what?
This is just it cools down and just
to cool down and be ready.
And be ready, yeah.
For the pastry, and we've got the rolls are here. It's in here.
We're just waiting for the bread to rise a bit.
We've got to wait for this to rise a bit. How's it doing? Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's right. It just needs about another 20 minutes probably.
Another 20 minutes. So
we got time to peel our apples while we're waiting for that.
So folks, you're going to have to watch all these episodes in a series to get the full flavor, so to speak, of what's going on. But that's okay. We'll keep on a series for you. And on the YouTube, and of course, if you watch the show every night, you're getting all of this. So we will come back in the next episode,
we'll peel some apples and talk
the
about
fourth of the series, to peel some apples and show about preparing
ready for action. Yes.
ready for action with the tart, right? Amazing.
That's the spectacular bit of the program.
All right, this is exciting. This is like,
real cooking, like a real cooking show.
Yeah, it's a real cooking show. Okay, we'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching.